Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another Pioneer video, and today we're going to be talking about the 10 most expensive cards in Pioneer. So a few things before we actually hop into the video here. So obviously on the channel, for those who are, relatively, familiar with the channel, I love to always talk about budget content and, ways to play the format, but a lot cheaper. You don't have to buy all these expensive cards. But then I got to thinking, what are the actual most expensive cards that are in Pioneer? So a few things before we actually hop into the video. So the little bit of a disclaimer, I guess we'll call it. So Pioneer is typically cheap to play. All these cards see play in other formats, which causes their prices to be much higher. These cards are not expensive because they're decent in Pioneer or anything like that. I want to be clear with that. The other thing I want to mention is I'm talking about when it comes to the prices, it's the cheapest version available. I'm not saying like, oh my god, the one of one, whatever this card, it makes it, like a golden chocobo. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like the fanciest versions. I'm talking about the cheapest versions to play in all of your decks. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm also talking about price. The other thing is I also wanted to include only cards that actually see play in Pioneer. For example, I don't have Archangel of Thune in this video. It is technically one of the top 10 most expensive cards in the format, but it doesn't actually see play in the format. Same with cards like Anointed Procession, very expensive card, doesn't see any play in Pioneer. So I only wanted to include cards that actually do see some play in the format, but I'm just a little bit with that too. All of these cards do see active play in the format. It's not like any of these cards are sleeper cards or anything like that. They are all seeing play as of the recording of this video. So do keep that in mind. So let's go and hop into it here. I've rambled on enough. Okay, so number 10, I have Cavern of Souls, and it's not even like me. This isn't a personal choice. This just is. It is Cavern of Souls. It's one of the only lands that are actually in this entire video. Spoiler alert too, there's no, a Ganja, or not a Ganja is a bad example, but there's no Otawara, no Boseiju, no shock lands that, oh, the boogeyman of the formats, that's why this format's so expensive. No, none of them are even on this list. But Cavern of Souls is at number 10. It's really good in all the different Kindred decks. If you're playing a Kindred deck in this format, you're basically going to want it. It's also good in specific combo decks where they maybe really want their tracks that are resolved, so they'll play one copy, so that way they can name Angel and make sure it does resolve. Very good card. $36 price tag is not because of Pioneer. It does see play in Standard, Pioneer, as well as Modern, and it sees play in Legacy, and it sees play in Commander. It basically sees play in every single format in the current history of Magic right now. So that's why Cavern of Souls is the 10th most expensive card in Pioneer. And at number 9, I have Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier, one of the new cards from Final Fantasy. So I'll admit, this card is very new. As of the recording of this video, Final Fantasy's really only been out for a month. But this card is very good. It's definitely not a bad card. It does see play actively in the format. Again, this card is not really super expensive because of Pioneer, really at all. It is starting to see some play in Standard and Pioneer with Bartolome, and then obviously the new black free sack outlet from Edge of Eternity. So it is starting to see a lot more play in the format. But yeah, it's really just expensive because it's a Final Fantasy card. But yeah, that's why it's at number 9. So number 8, the 8th most expensive card is Simulacrum Synthesizer. This card is very, very good. A big reason why this card is so expensive is because it is only on the big score bonus sheet from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It has not received an actual true print out of anything. You can open this obviously out of boosters, but it's not very common to open it all, and none of the big score cards are. The difference between this one though is this one is really good in multiple different formats. Obviously, I love to mention this, it basically sees play in most formats. It sees play in Standard, but it is relatively pricey, so that's why you really don't see it in paper quite as much. That's why you mostly see it on Arena, but it's a very, very good card. In pretty much all the formats I see this play, and obviously it's very good in the affinity decks that play the Demonic Junker and stuff like that, and then the Guardian from Aether Drift, the 3/4 for 5 with affinity for artifacts. It's very good with that card as well. But yeah, this card is kind of more expensive because of its scarcity, but it is still a very good card, and you're always going to want 4 copies of it, and that's why it's the 8th most expensive card. And number 7 is Vivi Orniteer, somewhat similar to Sephiroth, where, it's a very good card, but it's really mostly seen play in other formats, and also the fact that it's a Final Fantasy card that people are trying to get their hands on. This card's absolutely nuts. I actually just played against this card in Commander the other day, and I can tell you the card it's bonkers. It's really just good in every single format, and that's why it's $43 a piece for this card. The card is just absolutely nuts. It's broken. If you think it's not good, you need to reread it. Maybe read it again. The card's absolutely insane. Sees play in like Is It Prowess as well as Is It Phoenix. I'm starting to see actually play this card. It's just fantastic. The card's just nuts, and that's why it's at number 7 of the most expensive Pioneer cards. And at number 6, there is Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, the card that really doesn't get reprinted enough. It's basically a staple in every black deck, pretty much. Like, if you're playing a black deck in Pioneer Up, you're gonna want this card. It's good because, you know, obviously you're playing cards like, you know, Mutavault. It's obviously really good because if you're playing like a dual color deck, it can fix it potentially by making all of your lands be able to tap for black. You obviously have cards like Castle Locthwain, which means it's definitely gonna come in untapped if you have an Urborg in play. There's just so many advantages to playing Urborg, but the tricky part is the card is $47. It did get a reprint in like Time Spiral Remastered, as well as I believe it was one of the Double Masters or Ultimate Masters. I can't remember which one of them. I know it gets reprinted every now and again, but the card's just so good. It's basically, there's not really a reason why every black deck should not play Urborg, and that's why it's so expensive at $47 a piece. Okay, so now we're getting top 5 territory here. So number 5 is Sheoldred the Apocalypse, which really doesn't surprise anybody. It actually was more expensive than this a while ago. Like, if I would have recorded this video like a year ago, it would have been number 1 on the list. It was going for around like $70, $75, but the card is about to rotate from standard, so that's why it's going down, but it's still a very good card. The $50 price tag is for the Phyrexian text version. It's not even the English one. I want to say the English one goes for like $60 right now, but the card's just so good. You play it in black midrange because it's fantastic. It's the best 4-drop if you're playing like a mid-range deck. It pairs really well with cards like Unholy Annex. It just keeps you alive. It takes your opponent out of the game. It's really just what you want, and that's why Sheoldred's at number 5. So number 4 is Scapeshift, which is kind of a recently spicy card. So Scapeshift has always been floating around like the $5, $10 range, but with all the new landfall cards coming out in Final Fantasy as well as Edge of Eternities, like landfall decks, there's just a lot of excitement to them, and Scapeshift is great in all of them. It's really great in Pioneer, and obviously the further you move up, it gets even more crazy. It's super crazy in Commander, and it's one of those cards that they just don't reprint very often. Like, I think the most recent printing of Scapeshift, I feel like it was on the bonus sheet, maybe in Edge of Eternities, maybe it wasn't, maybe I'm just imagining that, but Scapeshift just does not get reprinted very often, and that's why it's so expensive. It was kind of like before it was printed in M19. It hadn't been reprinted in a while, so it was a very expensive card, and then it got reprinted in M19 and went down to like a $15 card. It really was just getting cheaper like as time went on, but again, they made all the good landfall cards new, and Scapeshift is fantastic again, and that's why it's at $45. I really didn't expect it to be that high, but it does make sense, and that's why it's at number 4. And at number 3, we have Agatha's Soul Cauldron. This card is busted. I mean, it makes sense why this card's $60 because, I mean, it combos with a ham sandwich. There's like a million different combo decks you can play with this. Like, obviously, there's like the Rona combo decks, and then there's like the Merfolk combo decks. And then there's like the tree combo. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can combo with this card. So it totally makes sense why it's $60 a piece for a standard legal mythic. It's crazy. I get why, but it's like, wow. So yeah, hopefully this card gets reprinted again because it's nuts. And that's why it's at number 3 on the list. And at number 2, we have the Great Henge, which I want to say, like, Great Henge is the least played card in the format. But I feel like part of the reason it's like not as played as the rest of these cards is because of its price tag. I was lucky, and I've been playing like Pioneer since the beginning, and like I picked up Great Henges when they were in standard for like $5 each, so I already have my playset, so I'm kind of lucky in that sense. I actually just like traded into like one of my local game stores a whole bunch of extra Great Henges because I'm like, do I really need like 7 of these? I don't think so, but the card's just busted. If Steel Leaf Stompy kind of makes a resurgence, people are gonna want to pick up this card for sure for Pioneer, but it is pretty nuts. If you've got them, you're gonna play them. If you don't, you'll probably just try to find something else. But yeah, this card's insane. You just draw a whole bunch of cards, it makes mana, gains you life, makes your creatures bigger, it's just everything you want. So yeah, that makes sense why Great Henge is number 2 on the list. So at number 1, it's the most obvious card I haven't talked about, which a little bit of backstory with Mox Amber, the number 1 most expensive card. I knew, like, when I was gonna make this video, I'm like, oh, I should do Mox Amber as the background. I've never featured Mox Amber in the background of any of my videos. And then I was putting the list together. I'm like, oh my god, Mox Amber actually is the most expensive card. So this card was holding, like, I just remember it was holding a $40 price tag for so long just because it sees play in so many different decks. Like, really, just, again, like Pioneer Up, it sees play in a ton of different formats and a ton of different decks. And then the card just, it got reprinted in like March of the Machines as the bonus sheet, which I was lucky enough to actually get one out of like a pack one time, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, then it really hasn't gotten a reprint since, from my understanding. And the card's nuts. The big Commander Boom obviously has an impact on that. But it's really just good in every format. And again, it's a card that you don't see a lot in paper because the card is very, very expensive. I mean, $66 is insane. Like, imagine if you want a playset of these, then you're forking out like over $250 for a playset of one card. There's like 100 different Pioneer decks that you could buy for the price of buying a playset of Mox Ambers. I mean, heck, even like some Pioneer decks you can buy with the... I make decks on the channel all the time. You can buy an entire deck that even has some really good dual lands and stuff included that is cheaper than getting one Mox Amber, which is crazy. So hopefully this card does get reprinted soon. It's a great card, obviously, but man, $66 is just nuts. I can't believe it. I guess, let me know what you think about this list. I mean, was there some cards that you expected to see on this list that maybe were a little bit cheaper than you thought? You know, I guess, like, what cards do you want any of these to be reprinted? Obviously in Standard, maybe, to make it, you know, like a little bit cheaper, but also play it in Standard. I don't know. Let me know what you think about this whole list in the comment section, and just let me know what card you think is the craziest that you really did not expect to be on the list. But that's all I've got for you. Thanks so much for watching this video. Feel free to check out other MTG videos here on the channel if you are new to the channel, or maybe have seen this channel but you really decided to finally click on a video now. You should definitely check out some other Magic videos here. Huge shout out to our channel members: Ralph, Matt, Arcadius, Ray, Gary, Cyril Loki, Michael D, our premium channel member, The Common Cold, Jeremy P, and BG Stilts. If you're interested in being a channel member, it starts at $1 US a month, and you gain access to the exclusive Commander Crane Discord, as well as other features here on the channel. So, I'm Commander Crane, thanks for watching this video, and hope to catch you in the next one.